Okay, here we are, we're showing the famous 5 horsepower little John Deere engine that's running on hydrogen. Obviously not running right now, otherwise it'd be a little noisier. And we're here with Roy, and we're going to show and demonstrate the engine.
Well, we're going to show, first of all, a mode of operation where we're bringing the hydrogen here, providing ignition only by the combination unit that could bring fuel if we choose. And we're also showing the ability to bring a number of different fuel sources. This could be running a combination through this mixer of any of the alternative fuels or conventional fuels or fuels such as terpenes that we'd produce by destructive distillation of citrus waste or some other.
Let's back up. Here's the back of the hydrogen vehicle we just saw with the tank.
Yep.
It's got 3,000 psi of hydrogen. The line is running out here to a set of regulators, which is regulating down the pressure to about 30 psi.
We're bringing it over.
Coming through a line here, and it's going up to a small needle valve regulator.
That's right.
Here. And these are just more attachment points for instrumentation.
And well, there happen to be for many different fuels. You could bring 3 different fuels here together with this pilot fuel on high boost.
Oh, what you're saying is, here comes the hydrogen. This could supply gasoline or diesel or natural gas or propane.
Sure.
So we can mix it with the hydrogen to get better combustion.
That's exactly right.
So it can run on hydrogen or it can run on a combination of fuels.
It can run on quite a large number of combinations that we call high boost combinations.
Now over here is the PSI plug, which provides both fuel and spark, and we saw that earlier with the green bottle. But in this example, we got the fuel turned off from this, right?
Yes, the fuel's turned off here.
So this is just acting as a standard garden variety spark plug into the John Deere engine right now.
It's providing spark. We're providing the fuel delivery here.
Now, okay, here's the thing everyone wants to see and they're so surprised at.
No
fuel delivery. Here's where the carburetor, the throttle body would go, and it's missing. It's gone.
That's
this
right.
is the air intake to the engine. This is
no
the
impedance.
Air intake port. This funny looking blue, black thing right here is just a
stainless steel
line. Stainless steel tubing that's held in place by a piece of wire, and it's going right on in as close to the intake port as it can.
That's right. It's aimed at the intake opening as the intake valve opens.
So there's no $1,000 injector in this line or anything. You're just regulating the hydrogen flow with the needle valve over here.
That's right. And we're doing research on the difference between stratified charge combustion compared to homogeneous charge combustion.
And now this is just the exhaust. This is where the muffler would go, and there's no muffler here.
No, we're showing that there's no tricks, no changes whatsoever for emissions tests that we do.
Well, let's show this. This is just the engine right here. This is the 5 horsepower engine. This is the pull start. That's your foot. That's the end. That's the shaft. This is the output. You want to pick the thing up for a minute so we can see there's nothing underneath of it?
Yeah, well, there's nothing under it. It's basically a engine that provides for the entire development of power within this hydrogen combustion regime.
This is just a 5 horsepower John Deere engine. Could be a Briggs & Stratton, Tecumseh, or most of the others.
Well, it could be any engine design whatsoever.
Yep. Okay, let's see this thing run. Okay, rev it.
You can breathe the exhaust. Notice the flavor is pure air.
Nice and full.
Yep. Here's the only control on the engine is the fuel control.
Now, since we didn't have a valve on there, we had a little hydrogen hop back.
What I did was overfuel it at the very end.
You overfueled it at the end. So the hydrogen popped back a little bit. Well, now, down here we can have a, this is the shaft output. This is the shaft where the horsepower comes out. We can connect this to an alternator, garden tiller, motorbike.
This becomes then the cooking center, as you would connect this to an alternator, make your electricity, and you'd be cooking right off of here. We put a pressure cooker here with a shroud to collect the heat.
And that's part of the TESI system, which we'll see on the DVD as well.
It is. It's part of the TESI concept of making virtually 90% or more utilization of the hydrogen that you bring to this engine for either motive power, electricity production, space heating, water production, because the water can be condensed here at the rate of 9 pounds of water per pound of hydrogen.
So we're not talking about just making electricity or work off the horsepower. We're going to now get even more efficient and use the waste heat that's coming out of the exhaust, use that for cooking, preferably in a pressure cooker, but it's more efficient, or an insulated oven, and then take that, what's left from that, and condense it into water that we can drink.
Indeed, and on the way you have many more cascades that can be made depending on your household needs. It can go through a cascade of space heating. It can go through a cascade of drying fruit or preparing a canning operation, or any of a number of other things that you'd need for operating your farmstead or homestead.
Well, perfect.
But we would see this as the base unit for replacing what is now the stove, the oven, the cooktop, and the electricity power plant that's throwing away 2 units of energy to get 1 unit of energy as electricity delivery through the grid to your home. Instead, here it is, something that you can control. You can produce your own fuel, make your own electricity on demand, and then get the rest of the heat.
What do you mean, produce my own fuel?
That's right.
I got a bottle sitting over here of hydrogen. How am I going to produce my own fuel that goes into this?
Well, we'll show you.
But it's possible.
Absolutely right.
Not with millions of dollars.
No, with
something someone can do at home.
Something you can do from your own manure or all the wastes of the community.
You can take that, turn it into a gas, and run it into there.
Or if you take your Tessie to a area that's had a disaster, Tessies of any of these sizes that we build up, such as this larger unit over here and still larger unit in front of it, can go out and meet the requirements of a community in terms of producing their power, cooking their food, providing space heat, and potable water as a result of on-site conversion of latrine wastes and the debris from the disaster.
But we're using latrine waste and debris from disaster. This is nothing making its own energy, anything. This is pure science, pure chemistry. We're using waste products to make our energy, our heat, and our food.
Anything that would have decayed or burned can be used for this thermodynamic regime of hydrogen production, sequestering of carbon, production of Tessie outfit conclusions. Depending on how the Tessie's outfitted, you can make it into either electricity or shaft power, and turn it in finally into potable water production, even from black water or wastewater.
So we can take black sewage, make energy, make heat, cook food off of it.
That's right.
Pasteurize out of water, and then distill pure water coming off of this.
In that regard, you're looking at what is much more appropriate for disaster relief, because it can come on the back of a person that's making the first rescue of the community, or it can be delivered, as it will be, by a pickup truck in larger units to supplement, and can immediately do things that central power plants couldn't possibly be expected to do.
I think the big advantage is really the 5 horsepower, because the 5 horsepower making about 3 kilowatts of electricity is a huge amount of electricity when you don't have any.
Well,
it's a lot of lighting, it's a lot of water pumping, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of chainsaws running.
Indeed.
It's
and
great.
It'll provide power for the surgeons and everyone else that needs to come with rescue operations.
Perfect. The 5 horsepower engine is really one of my favorites of all the engines we've seen.